When the Silver Sea clan split into the Vapra and Grottan clans, the Grottan wandered deep into the caves of Grot, and the Vapra high into the mountains, each taking with them ancient history in the form of relics, artifacts, books, and wisdom. The Vapra seeing after the history of the light, while the Grottan very fittingly took the records of shadow into the darkness. But it may surprise some to know that the keeper of this Tomb of Relics, at the core of the caves, was not a Grottan, but an urRu, known as urLii The Storyteller. urLii was one of a handful of mystics who was unsatisfied with urSu the Master's strict views on their interference with Thra. But unlike the others who simply left the valley in search of a new life, urLii had a plan, a purpose, an unwavering dedication to his pursuit of knowledge. This led him far into the Grottan settlements, not to be remembered as a great figure or leader, but to be forgotten among the collections of artifacts. He remained down in this sanctuary for so long that, much like all the others, his existence fell into myth, with only a few lowly souls knowing that someone, or something, was down there looking after this place. He was no more than a shadow, a random four-armed creature covered in the same glow moss that grew from the walls, lumbering around the tomb like a ghost. Among them, Agra had taken credit for the creation of this place, and some unknown Gelfling traveler for the continued collection, while all the while, urLii remained silent. Sometime in the late Age of Division, he became friends with Madra Argot, bestowing on her many gifts of word and history, even teaching her the art of healing, a very valuable skill she eventually mastered and passed on through her teachings, which was of course a great benefit to her clan. And, at the end of the Aratham Wars, he actually saved Ordon and Farah from drowning in one of the underground lakes, while they were journeying for the Dual Glaive. But, when Ordon tried to inquire about the legendary sword, he was only met with riddles. Although urZa the Ritual Guardian, and many of the urRu for that matter, were most well known for speaking in riddles, urLii was perhaps the most frustrating to deal with. This was because he had been so closed off from the outside, and so absorbed by the history of the world instead, that every word he spoke was a puzzle. Every piece of advice required a personal code to decipher, which rarely made any sense. He even constantly referred to himself in the third person, things Naya found to be incredibly frustrating. And most of the time, the help he offered wasn't even free, as he often expected something in return as payment. Very uncharacteristic for an urRu. But, interestingly, through all his stubbornness and odd behavior, he did support Urgo's beliefs in a union between the Skeksis and the urRu, which is why he allowed Urgo to store the Dual Glaive in the Tomb of Relics in the first place. This is important because it reveals that unlike the rest of the urRu who became passive under urSu's leadership, other mystics like Urgo the Visionary and urLii the Keeper of History were forming a kind of resistance of their own, one where they were sure to play an active part in the future of those they believed to be right. urLii may have been a forgotten figure of the darkness, but, much like his counterpart Skek Li, his imagination and individuality led him to value what was really most important in the world of Thra: truth. Alien or not, one can still tell right from wrong, and he proved that even an abomination can and should use the time they have to rebalance the harm initially caused by their predecessors. He was a storyteller, not only of history and wisdom, but one who wrote his own tale for the future of Thra and the future of the Gelfling. A story to be remembered forever.